I'm not sure I would say surprised. I think it's always an adjustment when you get to this schedule. It's not college. You're here early. You're here late a couple days, um, and then you got to do extra stuff outside the building to put yourself in a position to be great. And when it's an adjustment period when you first get into the league, and it's something you got to learn.
Crazy
But
chat.
listen, people want us to talk about Jermaine Burton, and there's a lot of rumors out there right now. Let me just say, I think that Zach Taylor, I commend him for the way he's handled it.
What do you say at the
Coulda-
presser?
he could have thrown him under the bus, and he didn't. He just said he's a young player. He had a great week of practice, and some things unraveled at the end of the week that involves with how we handle our business off the field as well as on the field. He said, but a lot of people came out and said a lot of positives about Jermaine Burton. All of those things were true, myself included. He was like, and he's a young player. We're going to continue to work with him. We're going to continue to help him get up to the level of being a professional and what it takes to what's involved with being a professional athlete. And he's a guy that's going to, and I quote Zach Taylor's words, he's a guy that's going to have a really good career here in Cincinnati, and we believe in him. And then obviously what happened. But again, I'll just say this: it's a lot of ups and flows, ups and downs. You got to just take it all in stride and just remember he is a young player.
Yeah. I have I'm gonna try to make this not long winded, but I do have a real message I want to talk to Houday and football fans about this.
Mm-hmm.
So the process of this Jermaine Burton thing, I want to share a different perspective that other people probably aren't thinking. The process of this Jermaine Burton thing is one of the things is I gravitated to him early as far as like Instagram and me talking or asking him about music stuff. We have similar stuff that I like, and I saw similarities in myself. And what I said by that is like, or what I mean by that is like early in the season, I thought that he would have a good game in the preseason. And if you go back to those interviews, he was very critical on himself right after it, head down, like da-da-da. He reminded me of me in high school. And when I think about, so a lot of people don't know my story. Yeah, I'm very, very much secure. I'm very much lit. I'm very much confident. You can't tell me nothing, but I had to get to that point. And there's a lot of people that I think are judging him and saying, just go to work, do a job, be a professional. You talk yourself out of it. You know, whatever. A lot of people, I had my mom and dad, they were divorced and stuff, right? But a lot of the times my neighborhood was raising me. And my neighborhood wasn't the best neighborhood. I was doing bad stuff. I got kicked out of high school. I was smart enough to be able to keep myself afloat. But a lot of people had to put their arm around me for me to get to a point where I could even come on a show like this and talk to people about certain things. I went through different parts of my life. When stuff would be good, I make a lot of money. I was real down on myself. And there's a level of depression and there's a level of self-awareness. There's all these different factors that I see sometimes in him. And it kind of gives a soft spot for me personally for Burton. That's just my own personal thing. And if you really watch it and you know and you live like how I'm saying, and like you see the signs, and he gives me those signs. So a lot of times people that have a good infrastructure, they're very judgmental to be like, you might have had your mom and dad, you might have been raised in a different area, you might have been in an area that had a lot of a real good support system. And a lot of those people are the very first people that are just like, yeah, be a professional. But for me, I had opportunities. It wasn't easy for me just to be a professional because I was trying to prove stuff to people. I was trying to prove stuff to myself. And it took me time. It took me to have a son. It took me all these different things so that I could have this confidence that I had. I was working for somebody making a lot of money. I left that because I knew I had to be my own boss at some point because my personality just wouldn't allow it. And a lot of times, like I thought the interview that he had, a lot of people were waiting to condemn him. There was an interview that was done, and I thought it was nasty that they took a 10-second clip of TJ Houshmandzadeh or something to be like, see, I told you, it's his fault. But him coming back out and saying, nah, like it's not, you know, I think I can help this team. I can't put myself in the game. I thought it was him talking to himself, trying to get confidence. And
I can't put myself in the game. So, shoot, I feel like I could have been made.
And a lot of people are very, very easy to be like, well, he's a millionaire. Get out there. Life is not that simple. And I just want people to understand, although I have a different perspective than you, I thought that he should have got a fine, maybe set out a quarter. I wouldn't have took him out for a whole game. But that's just me knowing my background and knowing how you have to wrap your arms around the situation sometimes. I think currently right now, I wouldn't even let Burton go out with all of the dudes like that. I would have a person like a Jake Brown and Joe Burrow, a leadership Jamar Chase person, to say, let this dude stay in your guest room. I would put so many different things around this dude to make it, because he's a third-round pick. So everybody that's coming back and saying, oh, yeah, Burton, he didn't play, did it? You don't understand. You're arguing against yourself and the success of your team. This is a third-round team. This is a third-round pick. The Bengals haven't won no Super Bowl. They ain't the Chiefs, and they don't have the luxury to lose on a third-round pick. So taking a victory lap on saying, hey, see Zim and Malik, I told you Burton wasn't who I said it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we're all on the same team and we're trying to win, there is no victory lap in Burton not playing. Burton is a part of us. Burton put on stripes. Burton helps us. Burton helps out all of our situations, and it solidifies things that are around us. I don't want to see these people on the timeline telling me about, oh yeah, see, I told you, da. You don't get any different you're not going to get an award from any of that. All you're going to do is get back and sit back and say, damn, why did my front office fail me again? Because you're not doing anything to aid any of these different situations. The people that I know that are around him, whatever, I'm going to challenge them and be like, hey, bro, if you see Burton, tell that boy to get back in. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever I can do. If there's something I can help him out with to give a sponsorship opportunity or something, that's who I am. That's who I've been. So don't listen to these people online that like to say, oh, well, they're arguing about. No, what happens is we're adults having a difference of opinion. My ideologies and my background tell me that I need to support him. Your ideologies might say, no, my dad was a drill sergeant. We don't got a tolerance for it. And I'm not here to condemn you, but I'm here to say you need to understand that life ain't simple for everybody. And I'm living proof that you can make it through, but I'll be an idiot and I'll be lying to tell you that I didn't have help to get to this point that I'm at right now.
Man, I think that was beautifully said, man. And, a lot of the stuff I resonate with you as well. It's not everybody doesn't have the same path. Everybody doesn't have the same, the same upbringing, the same environment around them, I would say. And everybody's situation is drastically different. I will tell you this. I agree with Zach Taylor's approach personally to how he handled it today. But I also think that Zach has experiences that led to him not allowing things to reshape the culture that he has built. That's not me saying Zach is a good coach, or I think Zach is a great coach or anything like that. That's me just saying I think he handled it the correct way. But I do agree with Zim's perspective on it. Do y'all remember when Cordy Glenn was here and he had that if you remember what took place that one practice where he I think he like pushed a coach or something like that, and it was a whole big deal and it made rounds, and the Bengals wind up shutting him down for the season, making him a healthy scratch over and over. Jermaine Burton's situation isn't that, right?
Right.
But Zach Taylor's done a lot to rebuild the culture here in Cincinnati and get it to a point where you don't have hiccups, you don't have that. And, again, for a team that has spent the last 6 years building the culture, when you have your culture in place, it allows you to then take chances on players that you hope can become constructive members of that culture. You don't just give up on guys because they have a hard time acclimating themselves to life in the NFL. Joe Burrow talked a lot about his leadership and how he needed to do some things to probably change his leadership, because Joe Burrow was very much a guy that's like, hey, lead by example, but that doesn't work for everybody. Sometimes you need to talk to people. Sometimes you do need to put your arm around people and really help them throughout their process. I think we've been very spoiled and very fortunate with some of the people that we have had in Cincinnati, like an
AJ Green,
like a Jamar Chase. That's crazy. We're on the same wavelength. Jamar Chase, AJ Green, Andy Dalton, who's a devout Christian. We've had so many people who were just good players for the community. And I think Jermaine Burton, getting to speak with him on camera for as long as I did, and then speaking to him for 30 minutes afterwards off camera, and just getting to know him, man, He's a good dude.
He's
He's a
different.
good dude. He's
Isn't
different.
he? Isn't
He's
he a
different.
different? You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? He's a different type of personality
Yeah.
that I think, depending on where you're from, you might not have a Jermaine Burton in your neighborhood, so you don't understand what I'm saying about this Jermaine Burton. Like, some people don't have a Jermaine Burton in their neighborhood.
Like
So,
when he says alien, he has the alien. Like he really is different. Like that. It's
like
hard
him
to
catching the
explain.
pass. When he caught the touchdown, he's just like his sellies and stuff. He's a different cat.
He is a different type of dude, and it's not. It's hard. It really is very difficult for me to put into perspective what it is. Like,
Right.
I don't think.
Yes.
I don't. Like his answers that when I was asking him a Dejon Anthony questions were drastically different. Like for me, I think that Jermaine Burton is a otherworldly talented dude on the football field. And sometimes I don't think he realizes how different he actually is and how like good he actually is. He just, he views himself as, I don't even know how to explain. Maybe we need to talk more offline about this. But
after the preseason game, if I could find the clips, he had this interview. I'm talking about he's the #1 rated wide receiver in all the preseason, coming off of a major game, touchdown in the game, everything like that. Head down, like, I got to be better. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, bro, you just cook, like, raise your head, like, get your chin up and like talk to the people. You know what I mean? And it's a different energy, and
he's a super introvert, by the way.
Right.
He's a super introvert. He will walk in the room and not say nothing. He is like a very introverted dude.
We need to understand that this is a marathon, and there's different ebbs and flows, like you said earlier in the show, that you got to kind of go through. And as we're picking out our foundational pieces, everybody isn't going to be 1,000-yard wide receiver. I don't think Yoshi's going to be 1,000-yard wide receiver. I do know in the evaluation process that we're learning about Yoshi. He can play every single position. He's a good red zone threat. I'm not interested in seeing him in any more jump ball opportunities. Those are gone. Give those to Mike Gesicki. Give those to T. Higgins. We're good off of those, right? Yeah. But as we move forward, I think the Mike Gesicki conversation and all these different guys like that, those are very important to what we're doing. And I think if you're very quick to condemn Burton, that's fair. But just know he's very intricate to what the Bengals are about to do.
Right.
If you go into the offseason and you don't have a wide receiver too, that's a pick that honestly the Bengals could use up front. Defensive tackle, they could use an edge, they could use a corner. For a guy that wants to score a lot of points, I don't want to use that on a skill position early in the draft. I want to go and beef up the trenches. If I can get this evaluation on Burton, Yoshi, Gesicki, hopefully Eric All comes back. If I can get that on, then it'll help me. Yeah. Telling people that this guy shouldn't be it doesn't help for your cause if you want to win. And I want people to catch the overall thing. If we're really trying to win these games, it's not about winning the games the way that we want them to win. It's about winning games.
Well, one thing I will say, guys, is I don't think Zim is saying that Burton deserved preferential treatment. I don't think anybody is saying that. What we're saying is what you're dealing with is a very unique situation. You're not dealing with a player with off the field problems in terms of like illegal activity or doing something that's being very costly to his status within the community or something. You're dealing with just ebbs and flows of a young player. I think that's what we're really talking about. And I think that, again, there's a lot to talk about here. I think that there's a lot of constructive criticism. I just think people need to just slow down the horses a little bit on just being like, hey, let's kick them off the team. Like what are we talking about here? Like, it's just, everybody's situation is drastically different. And
that's why I asked you and Daniel that question. I said, how far do y'all think we are from Burton possibly, because I feel like I'm out of touch with the importance of Burton the whole entire season. I've been saying since week 1, Burton should have 8-10 snaps. They haven't done any of that, right?
Yeah.
So now that he's a healthy scratch, in my mind, I'm like, how could you make him a healthy? I feel like I'm so far off base with it.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, is he almost off the team?
No. It's not that. It's just ebbs and flows. And I'm be honest with you. I think with someone like the person I have, Jermaine Burton does want to play. I just think that it's a situation in which that the way that Zach Taylor handled it, keeping him out of the game, and showing that like this could be taken away from you as quickly as it was given to you.